Hello there. Now, what else is this complete clown show of a government going to ruin? Oh, yes, our visit to the local pub or restaurant. Because one of Labour's latest laws will turn all workers, especially hospitality workers, into a latter day unpaid government Starmer Stasi. Yes, Angela Rayner's Employment Rights Bill will, when enacted, make it a duty for employers to ensure staff are not triggered by the conversations of the punters around them. So all talk on contentious issues will be banned in your local. And I completely dismiss the claims that this will not happen by those who say it's designed to prevent harassment, not what people say about politics in the pub. I say rot. All these proposals end up with a huge machinery of mission creep in them, so that over months and years, more and more things are added to the list of the verboten. The European Convention on Human Rights was designed last century to prevent the worst of atrocities. Now it's a lawyer's ATM, all caused by uncontrolled mission creep, and this will be no different. The fear of this will lead to fewer customers, more pub closures, and less tax for Rachel thieves. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage said that every pub is a parliament. It is where we discuss the world. If that is restricted, they might as well all close. But even that misses the whole point here. Everyone in the Westminster Parliament is an employee of some sort, from the Lords to the MPs to the staff and all the civil servants. What if some of those are offended by conversations in the subsidised bars and offices about some or other political discussions surrounding gender and religion? How are they going to discuss anti-Semitism and Islamophobia laws without triggering people? And before you say, that's different, that's Parliament, I say, no, it's not different. Freedom of expression applies to everyone and applies equally, or it should. If politicians can talk about stuff around other people, then so can we. Although I get the idea that our uniparty establishment does not view it in the way I see it. No, they want to control the narrative and control what you can say while they give away your freedoms, your heritage, and your country. They will force their gender and religious ideologies down your throat, and you will shut up. I say no. And on the front of the bill, it has the temerity to say that, in my view, the provisions of the Employment Rights Bill are compatible with the Convention rights. Not if it curtails free speech in any way, does it? And if we, the ordinary folk, talk about issues that interest us in robust terms, then so be it. The law of incitement to violence and illegal activity already exists, and anything that does not meet that threshold should not be disallowed wherever you are. And before I bring Richard in, I will just say that people need to get over this I must not be offended thing of self-importance. Being offended by overhearing a conversation is not being harassed. Anyway, Richard, what do you think about all this rubbish?
So now we are being told by a backward disciple, yes, the disciple of the son of a toolmaker, what we can and cannot say in the pub. Sorry, this is not going to end well for Labour and their incoherent leadership and their inbred voter base. Yes, do the moronic idiots who currently occupy government actually think you can tell the hard-working, downtrodden people of Britain what they can and cannot say to each other directly to other people's faces in the pub? It's part of our national identity. We love having a pop at each other and offending each other. That's part of being British. But, this is the government who The same government who think that flying a St. George's flag is distasteful. These people are vile traitors who should be removed from power as soon as we are allowed to vote again. They are playing with fire, and if they are not careful, it will be a fire they cannot contain. And I base that assessment by reading comments right across social media and in the comment section of the mainstream media. No, I'm not inciting anything. Or do the Pond Life in government think it's fair to have one and only one set of debating positions articulated to us? Yes, over a few bevies. I mean, just think about it. It's okay. It's okay to have an onslaught of wokeism. But if you were to respond with a different point of view, you'd be in trouble. But clearly so. We must sit in a pub with a load of woke crap being spouted back at us, and we must ceremoniously agree and grit our teeth until they turn into powdery dust in our mouths. I have to say, if Angela, I'm not turning into a werewolf Rayner, is actively trying to provoke some sort of negative reaction by the British people, she's going about the right way. I spoke to a young man today who inspired me. He is old enough to be my son, and even though he was clearly not happy with the direction of travel in this country, he was still in the fight for this land. You know, he still believed in Britain, and we agreed that the words by the Manic Street Preachers were incredibly poignant when they said, "And if you tolerate this, then your children will be next." We must not lose sight of the fact that if we don't stand up and say no more, we've had enough, then our children will have to do it in our place, providing they haven't been hurdled into cages by that point. No, this isn't just a fight for our way of life. This is a fight for our future, for the future of our children and their children. This is a fight not only for Britain, it is a fight of good against evil. And evil is currently sitting in power and telling us what we can and what we cannot say. Time is short and we need to unite. And all I see is disunity. Let the remnant of the people of this country try and come together. Keep coming together and assembling in London on the dates given. Dates like the 1st of February. Don't forget, the political way for now is our only way. Our political leaders have 4 years left to sell their vision of Britain to us. And not one of them should take our votes for granted. Represent the people of Britain or you will be swept aside. It is time to reclaim the capital of Britain peacefully. It is time to reclaim our pubs, and it is most certainly time to reclaim our churches. But first, I would say it is time to get to church. No matter how contaminated that church is with wokeism and evil, it is time to go and meet Christ there. And if the message of salvation isn't there, it is time to go to that church and demand that the gospel of Christ is taught in our churches and that we are able to return to being a Christ-centered nation. When you gaze at Starmer in number 10, you must realize that it was secularism that put him there, and only Christ can get this satanic ilk out.